So how did you guys meet?
I was in high school, and I met his sister. They had just moved into the area, and one day she told us come over, and so she introduced me to all of her family. And her brother Wendell was working on this big old ugly motorcycle. It was red. It was a Harley Davidson. And so she introduced us and everything. And then all of a sudden he says, can you do me a favor? And can you move? You're blocking my light. And I thought, okay, no problem. So I moved. And that's how we met.
By way of my sister and Gail was one of her high school friends, very close friends, and they lived very close to us, so maybe about 2 blocks away. And so one day, my sister came home with this cute little brunette, and in the backyard working on my motorcycle. And so they approached me, and so my sister said, "Oh, I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine from school." And so I was very intently working on my motorcycle, and I was out in the backyard. It was a nice sunshiny day, and so they were kind of standing in my light, and it was kind of hard to be seeing what I was doing. And so first thing I told them then, do you mind moving out of the light so I can see what I'm doing? And so that's how we that was our first words. And so I just said, "Hi, how are you?" So that's how we met.
What was your first impression of her?
Oh, she was a cute gal, and so I thought that, well, I could I'd get along with her, as far as being a friend of my sister's, then that's fine.
Nothing outstanding, pops into my mind. He was, just working on a motorcycle. I didn't really pay that much attention to him, to be honest with you.
So, eventually, when did you start liking him?
Well, I'm not sure, but it seemed like things sort of involved where I was invited over more often, and his stepfather used to do square dancing in the garage. And so I ended up doing the square dancing, and then also we had saltwater taffy pulls, and and we would go to the beach as a family. I went with them, and things like that. And so I guess that's what you would call, I was only 15. And I guess you could call that like dating, but I was with the family.
Oh, probably after she had come over to our house a few times, and so then my dad, he liked to have some. He liked to square dance, and so he would do some square dance music on his violin, and so we would do square dancing, and so he would show us how to square dance, and then we would do that quite a few times. He would have some square dancing. And then my mom used to do some taffy pull. And so we used to have a bunch of parties like that. And then sometimes we would do, at some of the parties, then we would do apple dunk. And so we used to have a lot of fun doing some parties and having some of our friends come over. So that was fun. Sometimes then we would go to the beach, and so that was also fun. And then most everyone, all of our friends would also go to church with us. And so it was pretty close, a group, and so we had fun together, went to church together, and so it was basically it.
So eventually you guys started dating, and what was that like?
Oh, it was nice. We'd go to some dates. We'd go to watch some movies sometimes, and maybe sometimes we would go to Redondo Beach, down to the pier, and do some of the amusement parks at the beach. That was fun. And then sometimes we would. She liked horses, so sometimes we would go horseback riding. We'd just go and rent a horse and rent some horses, and we'd go horseback riding, and so that was fun. So she was fun to be with.
Yeah, I had to wait until I was 16. My parents were very strict. My mother's Italian, and so she was very strict. And when I turned 16, I was able to go out one night a week, and it couldn't be on a school night, so that left Saturday. So I had to be home at 9 o'clock. That is how it was. Well, they met him. He came over, and he would visit. So he knew my mom and dad and my brother. And my mother, she used to always say, Wendell, go home. That was one thing she always did. And, he just took it. He was able to withstand that. And that was how it kind of just eased into everything.
So how long were you together before you got married?
Well, I met him when I was 15. And I married him 9 days after I turned 18.
That is a good question. I would guesstimate. Maybe about 2 years, maybe.
So after you two got married, were things going smoothly, or were some things hard to deal with?
No, it was always very mostly smooth. I don't think we had any. We've never had any big disagreements, throughout. So it's been pretty. It's been pretty smooth. So the Lord has been good.
No, things were pretty smooth back in the day. Yeah, I was very immature when I got married. I was. So yes, I think there was a lot of things that I did or said that I probably will regret, for the rest of my life. But the Lord's good. We're here. We're still together. We'll be 62 years this August. So I just thank Him for that.
Final question, what does love mean to you?
What does love mean to me? And that is giving, and And as long as you give 110%, then you can't fail. And so love is giving, sharing, living, and just communication. So love is all of those things.
Love means thinking about someone more than you think about yourself, caring about someone more than you care about yourself, and taking all the good and the bad. And that's what I feel.
So is there any last words that you like Grandpa to hear while he's watching the video?
I love him. I love him very much. He's a part of me. I don't know what I'd do if he wasn't here with me. And I'm thankful that we were able to get this far. And I'm thankful for my children. And I love them all very much. My grandchildren.
So is there any final things you want Grandma to hear while she's watching the video?
That she's always been the love of my life, and I love her now, and I will always continue to love her.